until just a few weeks ago, I didn't think about Atlantis. I didn't talk about Atlantis. I read nothing about Atlantis. And I received things and drip fed them, right? I'm not given the full explanation at the start. Thoth makes me wait. So I'd been down the rabbit hole for weeks. And then it was like, Thoth was giving me gentle nudges like, excuse me, Vic, do you have a second to talk about Atlantis? I was like, Atlantis? What are you talking about? And I found out that I have 60% unexpended karma from Atlantis, right? Since I made that discovery, I've found out who I was in Atlantis, I found out what my role was in Atlantis. Then I do routine Akashic work in the field of the student collective of Thoth. And I asked about the karma from Atlantis for all of us as a collective. It's 60%, it's exactly the same. I know that we're a soul group. And this is further evidence of that. We're on joint missions, right? So as much as Atlantis has been highlighted to me, I also know that we have 33% unexpended karma from Lemuria. I'm going to also be checking things like the Inquisition, the witch hunts, all these things, but we'll do Atlantis first because that's at 60%. Now, in response, I've set up an Akashic Records task force to maintain the field of the student collective of Thoth, but also to help me with my Atlantis detective work. I've also set up r/Atlantis Recovers so that we can talk about the fall of Atlantis. If you don't think that you're traumatized by the fall of Atlantis and you think this is a little bit ridiculous, you're like, Vic, you're kind of losing it over the fall of Atlantis. Like, that was 12,000 years ago. Are you for real? That's what I would have said too. Then, when I started to do the work that I'm doing now to investigate Atlantis and try and think about it in the context of us as a student collective, I had these feelings of overwhelming dread and anxiety come up, like I was doing something bad just by finding out about it, right? I felt like the information needed to be secret. It was so strange. I was like, why do I feel like this? I've actually cried about the fall of Atlantis several times now with the information that I'm finding out. So maybe it's repressed. It was for me. But this is important as it relates to our Gnosis Now campaign. Because of course, when we were in Atlantis, we did have those spiritual gifts. And the fall of Atlantis was like a shot to the heart of fear of our own power. And this is what's giving us this witch wound. Step 1, Atlantis, or maybe Lemuria, I don't know the timeline, or even if linear time really exists. We're carrying fear of ourselves. And this is a blocker from us as a soul group moving into Gnosis. So we had Gnosis then, and now we want Gnosis now to build a new earth. But we need to resolve this past piece and maybe some other past pieces so that we can have clean, clear, and well understood karma for the future, so that we can overcome what we're carrying, but also, this is really important guys, that a new earth doesn't become Atlantis. We need to understand where we went wrong so that the architecture of a new earth can be free from corruption. And one of the really heartbreaking things that I've been learning about Atlantis and our experience is that many good intentioned people contributed to the fall, including myself. But working with the task force has been so interesting because we reincarnate in soul clusters, and the people that we have relationships with or we click with, these are also people that we've known in our previous lives. So as an experiment, I did some in-depth Akashic readings to see if I could also find out who the people on the task force were in Atlantis. And I have successfully identified them. We have found out about things that happened in Atlantis that have also happened in our relationship today, since we were all members of the student collective of Thoth. And of all the people that are in the task force, There's one new member who I haven't trained yet, so I can't speak for them. But for everyone else, we had affiliations with the Temple of Sound. And as much as Thoth was like, let's talk about Atlantis, they also kept saying the power of sound, the power of sound. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, oh yeah, the power of sound, our Akashic task force. So I believe in the next couple of days, I will be in a position to launch the first of my minimum 2, potentially 3 Akashic Records toolkit items for Starseed Revolutionaries. And this is an extremely in-depth report, and even just building my report template has taken me a very long time. And I'm so excited about offering this to give it to you guys as individuals, but then also just as I'm moving through reading batches, I'll start to develop an understanding of the collective karma that I'm already investigating. And I'll be able to give updates to the group on how this is going. So, join Atlantis Recovers. Keep an eye out on the subreddit for the launch of the Atlantis report, the first report. The second report will be focusing only on the fall. But you will only be able to have the second report if you had the first one. And, this is really important, these are not products. This is a channeled spiritual development program. You have to do the steps as I'm channeling them. You will only be able to do the Atlantis report if you've done the other toolkit items, okay? So I know who's done toolkit 1. If there's a reason why you haven't done toolkit 1, make me aware and we can talk about it. But it would be my preference that we did everything in order so that we're moving together as a group. We're doing the spiritual development as a group. And I'm excited to find out what this is all about, because I don't have all the answers yet, but I know that they're coming. Gnosis now, guys. Take care.